What's up you guys, it's Aisling. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing my cream contour routine and I'm going to be using all affordable products because I realised I have not done my cream contour routine I'd say in about 2 years, and that's just crazy. That's just way too long. I don't think I've changed it up too much. I don't think I've changed up a lot of the products, but I might be a little bit better at cream contouring than I used to be. So I thought I would just do a video showing you guys how I do that and how I effectively get like a cream contour, because I just think that is like the most natural and the nicest appearance on my skin. Personally, I just really like it. I'm going to start off by applying my foundation, and I'm taking the Conceal and Hydrate from Makeup Revolution. Absolutely adore this foundation. Before starting this video, I applied my primer, and that's the Hydrate and Perfecting Primer from Essence. I'm actually just testing that out today as well, so hopefully this goes well. So I'm just going to apply the foundation using a flat foundation brush, and I just want to get the foundation onto my skin, so I'm not worrying about blending it out right at this point because I'm going to go in with my beauty blender in a mere moment. I've already filled in my brows, and I think I have a separate video talking all about my brows recently, so I'll link that down below. But if you want like a more in-depth brow routine, I can definitely do that. Apply the least amount of foundation to my forehead, so I just don't want that to be too heavy up there. So now I've applied that, I'm going to go in with my beauty blender. This one's dirty because I'm actually throwing it out after this video, so I said I may as well give it its last debut. So I'm just going to blend this all into my skin, and I just bounce the beauty blender all over my skin. Applying my foundation, this step probably takes the longest because this is like the blending part, and I just want to like really push the product into my skin. This just makes my foundation look really, really natural. And that's what I love about cream products on my skin, is they kind of look the most natural. So like cream contouring, cream blushers, cream highlighting, stuff like that. In the autumn, winter months, my skin gets a bit dehydrated and it kind of looks dry. Even though I'm oily, I still get like oils coming through. But just initially, my skin looks really, really dry. I just feel like cream products really like hydrate it and make it look a bit more fresh and luminous. Once I blended that in, we're kind of ready to go in with our cream contour product. For cream contour, I'm going to take the Pro Concealer from LA Girl. This is one of my favourite concealers to cream contour with. I know it's a concealer, but if you get a darker shade, you can use it as a cream contour. And that's kind of what I do with most concealers. If I buy it in a deeper shade, I can cream contour with. Now I have tried tons and tons of cream contour products, and I always go back to this one. For my concealer, I'm using the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define. Absolutely adore this. I like the Conceal and Hydrate, and I've been trying it out for like the last maybe 2 weeks, I want to say. But I think I prefer the Conceal and Define personally. I just feel like the Conceal and Hydrate, even though it says it in the name, kind of dehydrates my under eye area. So the Conceal and Define makes my under eye area look quite awake and hydrated. I'm going to go in with the Pro Concealer, and the shade that I'm taking is Beautiful Bronze. I do also have the shade Toast, which I kind of prefer, but I'm all out of that because obviously I prefer it, so I've used it up. This one's a great colour too. It's just a little bit deeper, but I might be able to get away with it today. So the way that I like to cream contour is, obviously my cheekbone is right here, and I just want to kind of go a little bit underneath it because I prefer to blend up my cream contour. I often say, like, if you want to find out where your cheekbones are at, you could do like the suck in face. So then you can see where the shadow is, and that kind of line is where I want to go under. So you can see the cheekbone right there. I just want to go a little bit under it. So I just kind of dab about that much, not that much at all. And same on the other side. So you can make out where the bone is, and you just want to go under it. And I don't drag it in too far, so we don't want to go the whole way in here. Normally I'd say stop at the corner of the eye. Is where you want to like stop dragging the line in. And then I also go around my temple area. So I'll just apply a bit here and here. And then we want to go around the tops of the forehead. So this is where I try not to apply too much because I can get a bit crazy with it. So we just want to dab a few little tiny dots, and I want to keep it lower. Like obviously, like my forehead stops up here. I have a large forehead, so I want to bring it down a little bit forward, and about that much is okay. I don't generally contour my nose that much because I have a relatively very narrow bridge on my nose. If you want to contour your nose, there are tons of different videos on contouring your nose. I generally just contour a little bit around the tip. So I will like go across the nose ever so slightly, and then kind of around the tip of the nose, so you're kind of left with like a little bobble shape like that. That is basically all I do with my nose, because like I said, the bridge of my nose is really narrow. If you have a wider bridge, then you can obviously contour down the center of the nose. I'm not a pro with it because my face is, it just doesn't require it. And then also I apply a bit to the bottom lip. This just makes my lips look a little bit fuller. And if I really want to go like cray, I will apply a bit here and here. I'm just going to do it for the purpose of this video. And then sometimes along my jawline, so just a little bit there. So that's basically where I will cream contour. And as you can see, I haven't really applied that much. When I first started doing this, I had cream contour product all over my face and it was not good. Now for concealer. Concealing is obviously where you want to bring light to the face, whereas contouring is where you want to bring shadow to emphasize areas or add, you know, a little bit of depth to the face, and that your face isn't like one-dimensional. When you conceal, that's where you want to bring brightness back into the face. The places that I like to conceal are obviously underneath my eyes, because I want to conceal and make them brighter and conceal any dark circles. That's kind of the shape we want to go in, like a kind of like a triangle shape underneath the eye. Again, you do not have to apply that much concealer. I'm just been very extra for this video. So other places that I like to conceal are over my lip. So I just like to add a bit of brightness just to my upper lip. Again, because it just enhances my lip shape, and under here makes it look like there's a shadow so that my lip is kind of like dropping a bit, whereas up here I want to kind of make it look a bit more lifted. And then I put a bit just down the center of my nose. Remember where I said you want to emphasize with the light and like cause shadow with the dark? So because the bridge of my nose is quite narrow, I don't mind emphasizing it with a bit of concealer. If you don't want to emphasize your nose, then I wouldn't recommend putting concealer down the center of it. And I also put a bit in between my brows. I just do that to kind of brighten that area. And then the final place that I like to bring just a little bit of emphasis to is my chin. Again, if you don't want emphasis on your chin, then I would recommend skipping that part and just kind of emphasize the areas on your face that you want to. You can go crazy and put like concealer all down here as well. And you can put concealer kind of anywhere that you feel you want a bit more emphasis to. Some people bring it right around their brows as well. That's by all means, do whatever you feel comfortable with. The lighter concealer is for emphasizing or brightening, and the darker shade is for contouring, cooling down the face, sculpting it out, and causing shadows where there wouldn't be any normally. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so generally I don't recommend waiting too long before you blend these products out, and I would generally like start with my concealer in all the places that I've shown you, blend it out, and then go in with my cream contour and blend that out. But obviously, like I said, for the purpose of this video, I don't really have that option. So I'm going to blend out now with my beauty blender, and I'm taking the tip end and just putting that right underneath my eye and blending out my concealer. So I'm just going to work as quick as I can with this concealer because it's pretty much starting to dry on me. So you just want to like bounce the product into the skin just like I did with my foundation and just blend it out as much as possible. So now my under eye area is looking a lot brighter than it was before, and it'll look even more brighter when I go in with powders, which I'll talk about in a minute. So I just want to blend out over my lip and my chin. And then just down my nose. So now I'm going to go and blend out the contour, and I'm taking this brush, which is an F18 from Sigma. I'll link down all the brushes below, and I'm just going to swirl that into my product and just blend it out. This might take a little bit longer than it should because the product is kind of starting to dry on me. Obviously, if I was doing this on a normal day-to-day basis, I wouldn't be sitting around talking and letting the product dry into my skin. But you just want to swirl the product into the skin and blend upwards. And I find that this works the best for blending for me, one of these brushes, than a beauty blender initially, because I just find the beauty blender, I'd be there all day trying to blend that out. So one of these brushes is great, a dual fiber brush, and you just blend the product away, and it also removes any harsh lines that might be left from the product, especially if you're using a product that has like an applicator on it. As you're kind of blending, you kind of just want to bring it down a little bit forward on the forehead. This will just make your forehead look a little bit shorter if you have a large forehead like I do and you have the space. Obviously, if you have a shorter forehead, you don't want to bring down your contour too far because it'll just make your forehead look even shorter. So once I've kind of that blended out, I just go in with the beauty blender just to remove any harsh lines and just make sure that there's no edges or anything like that where my foundation and my contour meet. This bit can be a bit tricky, so we just want to like swirl the product up more so than dragging it down. Take your time with this and just kind of like swirl over the product and we don't want to be doing like dragging motions or anything like that. Again, you want to be kind of dragging it back to the ear and into the hairline. I may have applied a little bit too much of that product here. Be really careful with how much product you actually do apply. I find I alternate between tools when I'm doing this, so I'll go with my beauty blender and then I'll go back in with the brush and just here as well. I just squeeze the brush a little bit like that just so I can get like a really kind of crisp blend. For the blend around the nose, sometimes I take a little brush like this just because it is a smaller area and just blend it out exactly the same way. So I would just say keep blending all those areas out until you're very content with the blend and that there's no harsh lines and that the face is much more defined than it was before because it looked a bit more flat. But we just want to make sure we've no streaks, no lines, no anything. And you can see there, like, I'm pretty happy with the effect of that on my skin. And just don't panic. Again, I remember the first time I ever cream contoured, I panicked a little bit about the darkness. I was like, oh my god, it's so dark, I'm never going to be able to blend this into my skin, I'm going to be left with streaks and marks. But once you don't panic and just continue to blend, it will blend into the skin eventually, I promise you guys. So I'm going to go and finish off my eyes and then come back and powder the face and show you exactly how I do all that. I just like to let everything kind of set a little bit into the skin before I powder everything, if that makes any sense. So I'm just going to do my eyes off camera. I am featuring a new Essence palette. I'll link down the video below and you can see what I think. Now I'm going to set my face. The first thing that I do when I'm setting my face is I will take my baking powder. This is my Lace baking powder from Makeup Revolution, and just pop a bit of that into the lid. This has kind of like a pink undertone to it, and I always take it on a little triangle sponge and I will press that into my under eye area first. And I will leave that for a mere moment. I used to always skip this, like this baking step, because I just thought it was so unnecessary. Now, if I don't bake, I find that my concealer doesn't last as long throughout the day and I just don't like the appearance when I don't bake. So we're baking. And then I'm just going to apply a bit of that just along the contour, just to clean up any contour that might have gone down too far. And then I will bake just around like my smile lines here. And sometimes I just do a little bit in between the brow and then just down my nose as well, whatever's left on the sponge. I literally leave that to sit on my face for about 2 minutes max. And then I'll take a brush. This is the Shade and Light brush from Kat Von D. And I'm just going to blend it all away and make sure that it's really blended into the skin and that there's no kind of like white cast or anything from the product, especially down here where I want it to be cleaned up, but I don't want to obviously have like a white cast. This powder brightens at the same time as setting, so it will add a bit of brightness. So that's why I add like tiny little bits to those other parts of my face, whereas the most is kind of under my eye. So now I want to set my entire face. I'm taking my Coty Airspun loose powder. Take whatever affordable loose powder you want. This one's just really good at setting the face. I'm not crazy about the scent, that's the only thing. So I'm just going to tap my brush in there and just swirl it around. Tap off the excess, and then I'm just going to press that onto my skin, and I'm just going to go over everything that I place down. Because this is transparent, you can just like set everywhere on your face. So you can set your contour, you can set your highlight, everything. So I just set everywhere on my face, and I just take a teeny tiny bit. Like, you don't want like too much, you just really want to like set the face. We don't want to add too much powder to the face. Well, I don't really like that real powdery look to my face. I just like it nicely set. Now this step might seem a bit extra since we already set underneath the eyes, but I'm going to take my Essence Banana Brighten Up powder and I'm just going to take it on a little flat brush like this and just pat it underneath my eye just to add a bit more brightness to under there. I know, very extra, but I do like my under eye area to be quite bright. Not like stark bright, but just nicely bright. So I do find after I apply my translucent powder, I do like to just go over my contour a little bit, and I'm taking the Catrice Sun Bronzer in medium bronze, and I'm just going to bronze back up, or bring back up the bronzer on my face. So I'm just going to apply the tiniest amount, and I just kind of like swirl it over the areas where it already added my bronzer just to bring it back. Next I have blush that I want to apply, and the shade of this is Befitting. It's just a really nice rosy shade. I'm just going to apply that to my cheeks, to the apples. I'm just going to bring it up. I have the highlighter. Just going to apply that up there. I'm just going to apply that to the tip of my nose. Probably a little bit too much. And just over my lip. You just want to hit the high points of the face, because that's where you want to bring a little bit of emphasis back to the cheekbones. Obviously keep the blush to the apples, and then obviously bronzer along the contours, and then the highlight is just to bring out or emphasize the cheekbones. Okay guys, so that is exactly how I cream contour affordably, and that you now don't fear cream contouring like I used to do, because I was absolutely terrified of it. Even when I started doing it and I was like blending it out like I was showing you earlier on, with like the big patches of darkness up here. It'll be a bit of trial and error, just like figuring out what products work best for you, what color, and you know, what sort of texture you prefer. Obviously, like, cream products come in different kind of like formulas. There's obviously like stick cream contouring products, and then there's like the liquid ones, and then you have more like moussey formulas like you can get from Bourjois and stuff like that. So it just depends on what works for you. For concealer, I always recommend going with like a liquid concealer. I just find like it's easiest. You can obviously use a cream concealer underneath your eyes if that's what you so wish, but I just find if I use cream concealer underneath my eyes and then do all the setting steps that I do, it can sometimes just cause the under eye area to look a little bit crepey and cause my products to separate or kind of like cake together, and it just doesn't look good. That's why I only ever use the liquid concealer. Anyway guys, I hope you found this video informative, or at least a little bit helpful. If you did like today's video and you want to see kind of more like, I don't know, helpful videos on how to do your makeup, then please give this video a thumbs up, or you can write in the comments what you would like to see next. I used to love doing these videos back in the day. I have an itchy chin, and then I haven't done them in so long, so I just think it was like a good kind of introductory back into makeup 101s, because I used to love doing them. Anyway guys, I will talk to all of you in my next video. I love you so much. Mwah! Bye guys!